All right, let's get into it. This is our three-part look at the 12 traits of Cancer. We're going to start with the first four, basically the traits that form the exterior. This is what everyone sees first, the first impression. This is the foundation. Let's begin.
Okay, first up, trait 1. This might just be the most defining and misunderstood trait of them all, the armor. This is the very first thing you're going to encounter when you meet a Cancer. It's their interface with the entire world.
And here's the thing, right at the core of it all. You were born with this profound sensitivity, this open heart. But you were born into a world that, well, isn't always so gentle. It's a conflict from day one.
So what do? I mean, you have to adapt, right? You protect yourself. You build a shell, layer by painful layer, and it becomes this masterpiece of self-preservation, designed to take the pressure, to deflect, to look completely invulnerable.
And this shell, man, it is so effective, so utterly convincing that people start to mistake the defense mechanism for the actual person. And if you're not careful, after a while, you start to believe it too.
But that's not the truth, not even close. The shell isn't you. You are the thing underneath it all. That soft, living, feeling core that the armor was built to protect in the very first place. That is the real you.
And that right there, that's the central paradox, isn't it? The very same thing that was absolutely necessary for your survival can end up becoming a cage. It can prevent the very connection, the very life it was meant to preserve. It's the savior that can become a prison.
Trait 2, it builds right off of this idea. We're moving from that hard exterior to the liquid interior. This is what we call the moon in your blood. This is the emotional world of a Cancer.
I mean, if you know a Cancer, you know exactly what this is like. The emotional weather inside them can shift with just breathtaking speed. We're talking the full spectrum of human feeling, sometimes in the span of a single conversation.
You know, the easy label people throw around is moody or unstable, but that's just a total misunderstanding of what's really going on. It's not some flaw in the foundation. It's just the nature of the tides.
Here's a better way to think about it. Your moods, they're like the weather passing overhead. Storms, sun, clouds, the whole thing. But your character, that's the ground beneath it all. Solid, unchanging. Being rolled by the moon, your inner world is basically the ocean. The surface is in constant motion, reflecting the light, being pulled by these massive celestial forces. But deep, deep down, the floor of that ocean is always the same. It's constant and it's true.
But there's another side to this coin. While the weather can change in a flash, sometimes a single emotional cloud can just settle in and refuse to budge. A deep melancholy or a quiet joy can last, coloring everything for a very long time.
All right, trait number 3. This is a real superpower, and it's totally connected to their emotional core. It's called the archive. Look, we're not just talking about a good memory here. This is total emotional recall. Cancers don't just remember the facts, they remember the feeling, the exact tone of your voice, that tiny pause before you spoke, the way a promise felt when it was made, and exactly how it felt when it was broken.
And that is the power of the archive we're talking about. The past isn't some blurry collection of old memories for them. No, it's a library of high-definition recordings, and they can access them at any moment, feeling just as real and immediate as the day they happened.
What this means is, for a Cancer, the past isn't just gone. It is a living, breathing thing inside of them. It can be a source of incredible warmth and comfort, but it can also be a source of pain that never quite goes away. Old wounds can feel brand new, for years.
So you see how this archive can be two very different things, right? On one hand, it can be a beautiful museum, filled with treasured moments you can just walk through and revisit any time you want. Or it can become a prison, where you're forced to relive every single mistake, every hurt, every loss, over and over again.
In the end, it all comes down to curation. The challenge for Cancer isn't to forget. I mean, that's impossible. The real challenge is to choose which memories to put on display in the well-lit halls of the museum and which ones to leave in the dark, in storage. And all of this, the armor, the deep feelings, that perfect memory, it all leads us right here to our final trait for today, which flows directly from everything else. Trait 4, the vault.
You know, Cancers are the natural keepers of secrets. People just find themselves confiding in them, a lot of times without even planning to. There's just something about them, an inherent sense of safety that just draws people out. But here's the catch. It is almost always a one-way street. They will absorb your deepest fears, your wildest dreams, and they will offer this profound empathy and understanding. But they will rarely, if ever, share in return.
And their own thoughts, their own inner world, that is under lock and key. It is a locked room with no windows. And you can see why, can't you? After everything we've talked about, that soft core, that archive of hurts, vulnerability is the highest possible risk.
And this creates this really deep paradox in their relationships. A Cancer can make you feel more seen and more understood than anyone else in the world, all while they remain a complete and total mystery. They build intimacy by listening, but they can create so much distance with their silence. But don't get it twisted. Because they're the vault, they've basically collected a map of everyone's vulnerabilities. And if you push them into a corner, their words can be devastatingly precise. It's not a weapon they enjoy using, but because they listen so well, they know exactly where to aim.